Now let me invite the program mentor and the guest of honor for this conference, Dr. Anju Sharma IAS, Additional Chief Secretary, Labour Skill Development and Employment Department, Government of Gujarat, for her guest of honor address. A huge round of applause for him. Over to you, ma'am.
Good morning. My colleague from the police services, Shri Anil Prathamji, Director General, and Manish ji, Rajiv ji, all the eminent dignitaries here, guest speakers. The purpose of this seminar and why we were interested in this seminar when they brought us a proposal was to sensitize the education, especially the higher education community of Gujarat, to the importance of integrating skills into educational framework. And as Rajiv ji very clearly mentioned, that at the level of Government of India, at the level of the regulatory institutions, a lot of things have been done. But somehow these things are not seeing the light of the day because of various things. For every learning, there has to be unlearning. That unlearning is not coming very easily. That's number one. And number two is that our system is molded into a definite shape. So it's like a matka, a matla of a particular shape. It's not a kachi matti that you can shape it. So you have to break it. And this was one revolution that we brought in the education system, higher education system of Gujarat way back in 2017. All of you would recall when we had started the startup revolution. In 2017, it was a big challenge when I first held the seminar for student startup and innovation policy with similar set of friends, of course, not the same people, but similar institutions and similar dignitaries from the institutions. Mr. Avasthi is here. And it was difficult because the way people were talking, they were not able to understand startup and innovation. And at one point after giving that startup and innovation policy, and we were very early starters at that time, we certainly in the first seminar, I was like drawing cold feet. What have I started? I don't know whether the system will be able to absorb it or not. But then we pulled up our socks, tightened our belts, and started it. And now, 5-6 years hence, we've come up with SSIP2, and it has become a case for all others to emulate. All credit goes to all these people. They owned it, they did it, and they showed it that it can be done in the colleges, universities, and every university now has a startup ecosystem. It has startups, it has incubators and pre-incubation facilities, and so on and so forth. So this is a similar kind of revolution that we have to embark upon. When we talk of startup, when we talk of bringing change, we talk of disruption. So this disruption is very essential. Till we don't take up this disruption, things are not going to work out. We set up Kaushalya Skill University to create an example that this can be done. And of course, it was started earlier than they came with National Credit Framework. And I would like to tell you that just after the National Credit Framework was announced, before that, the CBCS framework was announced by UGC. And when CBCS framework was announced by UGC, and by that time we had already started KSU, and we had already implemented the new CVS framework and designed our own framework for the university. Of course, your common credit framework came very late, the general one, but we had designed it. And we had also at the same time started integrating and affiliating the industry institute. So when Mr. Pradhan visited IAS, that was, I think, 1.5 years back or so, he was like quite impressed with this kind of integration. Mr. Kalsi was also there, your secretary was also there. And he said, let's do it at the national level. And after that, work on national credit framework started, and the national credit framework came up. And you will be pleased to know that we have in Kaushalya Skill University implemented the national credit framework in totality, and the new CBCS framework also in totality. Those of you who would like to see that, who would like to learn from that, are most welcome to do that. How the multiple entry and exit would take place, how diploma and degree equivalences will be there, and all these things have been laid down very clearly in the framework and the matrix that we have worked out in line with the national credit framework and this thing. So the idea, the central idea of the whole thing is why we are doing it. My partner and stakeholder, and of course Mr. Mattu will be making why I'm saying partner, because he's a partner of KSU. So not my partner. They are there, ArcelorMittal. And they were the first, amongst the first, to combine hands with us and work out this unique model. And he'll be making a presentation on this, how it is possible, how we did BSc, how we are doing 2 very important courses, BSc in Steel Technology and BSc in Green and Renewable Energy. Now, that apart, I was talking why. So why also he will tell. Because every time he complains to me, Madam, I don't have students to employ. I don't have candidates. Please give me permission to go outside the state. And as Secretary Employment, as Additional Chief Secretary Employment, I tell him, no. You first, because we have this 80-20 rule, so you first deplete my candidates and then then we'll think later. So this year also he came up with this request, same request. I want 1100 candidates and all my lists are depleted. So then I spoke to several private universities also. I spoke to GTU also. I gave them a full set of candidate list, and I don't know how many of those they hired. That will be a different, that of course he only will be able to tell, quite a few. So the point is, what industry is wanting and what you are producing is a huge gap. There's a huge demand and supply gap. Industry will not listen to you. Industry cannot modify your requirement, their requirement to the produce that you make. एक घर में पूरी सब्जी बनेगी और उसको चावल चाहिए तो आप फिर भी उसके मुंह में डाल दोगे, भाई आज इससे काम चला ले. बट इंडस्ट्री ऐसा नहीं कर सकता है, बिकॉज पूरी सब्जी बनाए तो शाम को बीमार हो जाएगा, वो खा ही नहीं सकता है, वो बीमार है, उसको खिचड़ी ही चाहिए. अब आप पूरी सब्जी बना के दे रहे हो, उसको खिचड़ी चाहिए, नहीं दोगे तो शाम तक इंडस्ट्री सिक हो जाएगी. तो इंडस्ट्री को तो खिचड़ी चाहिए. आप यदि खिचड़ी नहीं बनाओगे, वो प्रॉब्लम आपका है हु इज कुकिंग, दैट दे हैव टू मेक खिचड़ी. वो उसकी जो रिक्वायरमेंट है वो मॉडिफाई नहीं कर सकता, बिकॉज दे कांट ईट की पूरी सब्जी, उसका सिस्टम ही उसके सूटेबल नहीं है. सो इंडस्ट्री का जो रिक्वायरमेंट है, द नीड ऑफ द इंडस्ट्री इज गिवन. दे कांट मॉडिफाई इट because they have certain product line, they have certain assembly line, they have certain services that they have to produce and that they have to deliver. And for that, they require a certain skill set. They don't require education set. They require skill set. And the problem with them, and of course that also I'm changing a lot by hammering them into their head, that don't link skill set to degree. And that most of them are now changing, delinking skills to degree, and because they are also realizing that someone who has degree may or may not have skills. But someone who has skills may or may not have degree, हमारा काम चल जाएगा. तो अब आपको सोचना है कि जब इंडस्ट्री को खिचड़ी चाहिए तो आप पूरी सब्जी निकालोगे, and you will dump it in the market, or you will modify yourself to produce that khichdi. That you have to decide. That educational institutions will have to decide, because it is do or die. And because of this only, AICT is here, all the educational institutions are here. You are facing a situation today that 60% of your degree, BTech and B positions are vacant in your colleges. Why? Because students don't want to go there. Industry doesn't want them. You are very happy because you want your institution to have BE, BTech. हम engineering college चलाते हैं, engineering university चलाते हैं. No. Industry wants skills, so better to offer diplomas. And I think one suggestion that I would like to make, I have two suggestions to make. First suggestion that I will give to AICT and to all of you. Convert your vacant seats of degree into diploma, as the ACS employment here, who is very, very closely in touch with the industry on a day-to-day basis, I can vouch for it, they want diplomas more than degrees. And please, we have a shortage of diploma holders in technical programs. Produce more of diplomas, less of degrees, and improve the quality of your diploma. Improve the quality of your diploma. So AICT should also try to see that they are facilitated into it. The movement from degree to diploma is facilitated. That's one request. The second thing, we are talking of Industry 4.0. None of you have mentioned Industry 4.0 in whatever we have discussed so far. In fact, in most of their topics also, in the title they have given Industry 4.0, but in today's discussion, I didn't see much of Industry 4.0 in all the topics for discussion. What is Industry 4.0? Industry 4.0, as you all know, it comprises a set of latest functioning of the industry, which is totally smart, automated, and functions through emerging technologies like AI, machine learning, smart workplaces, IoT, as a result of which the workplace, the nature of the workplace is changing. Industry is doing it, nations are adopting it because it gives better productivity, it gives better performance, and it gives cleaner workplaces, more precise products, better quality. So they have to do it. In fact, some countries have taken up this initiative even in their MSMEs, and very recently we had a discussion at a very high level in which 4 departments of Government of India were present, that we have to now lay down a roadmap for transition into Industry 4.0 even for MSME. So gradually Industry 4.0 is going to be there fully. It's right now knocking at our doors, or made an entry, especially in the mega enterprises. But in this MSME also, it is coming up very fast. So how is it going to change the skill requirement, the skill sets? You will understand that Industry 4.0 depends very heavily on emerging technologies, especially the IT and computer science. And what would be required will be people sitting in front of control rooms and dashboards, managing the entire factory rather than a person. So we imagine the traditional factory as, so way back when I had seen 20 years back a steel rolling factory, it was workers in lines watching it, what is happening, moving with hand and all that. And very recently I visited ArcelorMittal. There is a control tower, a person is sitting there. The system is totally operational. They keep on watching on the monitor what is happening to each and everything. So that's how the units are being done. I would make a very, very humble request to you all. Please, how many of you have seen a smart factory? Please raise your hand. No, not from the industry. From the academia. So that shows what we are missing. Please go and see what an Industry 4.0 workplace looks like. That will help you redefine, redesign, and rework out your courses. Because this country would require, all of us, this state would require a huge workforce of people who know how to operate smart machines, how to sit on the dashboard and on the monitor and run a machine from there, and also a lot of maintenance, a lot of utilization of automated products, and the more advanced manufacturing technologies. So it's not that mechanical is out, mechanical is getting modified. It's not that civil is out, civil is getting modified. So instead of working on a lathe machine, you have to teach him how to operate a CNC or a vertical machine. Instead of, so things have to change. Think, आप उसको घिसना सिखा रहे हो, कैसे फिटर में वो घिसना सिखाता है, वो घिस के लेवल चेक करो. आते 5 साल बाद कितनी फैक्ट्रीज में घिसने वाला सिस्टम रहेगा? There is a machine which will do it, and you just have to see the precision and the requirements on the monitor. So things have to change. So please visit industries, please see what is happening in the industry and make very, very frequent amendments. So when we were working out the manuals for KSU, we put something over there that every syllabus has to be modified every year. Because you are continuing syllabi from so many years, and whenever you make changes, we make very incremental changes. 2 line यहाँ बदल दिया, 2 line वहाँ बदल दिया, 3 line वहाँ बदल दिया. That also doesn't, when it comes to actual delivery of the content, that doesn't change. Why? Because we have our people who are trained into these traditional things. They themselves don't know. And I'm telling you, I have conducted several interviews in various disciplines for KSU. People don't know about modern technology, including the best of the people from many of your private universities into mechanical, in computer sciences, in finance. They don't know. They don't know much. In fact, some of the times I really put my head down. I said, like, what is the status? I have interviewed many professors also, from not only assistant professors, but professors also. They don't know. They themselves they don't know, so how are they going to teach? So a lot of emphasis on building up the capacities of the teachers, of the faculty. And I think this is second request, is that AICT should make it mandatory for them to take up the faculty development programs connecting to industry 4.0 or to the modern technologies, whatever may be there. So that should be a mandatory requirement when next time, so you revalidate your affiliation for permissions every year. So at that time, you should see whether they've done it or not. And how many people are trained into these, because it's all the same rut continuing from year to year. This is the second point, and I have another request. Actually, this one came in between. The third one. Now, I'm really, really grateful that, in fact, I myself didn't know that AICT has adopted NCRF, and AICT has very beautifully done it. After I heard what you spoke, I went on the internet and saw that entire thing. So, what you have written there is yet to percolate down and to be implemented. So it takes time. I remember when AICT for the first time in 2019 came up with that subject wala change or any of these 12 subjects. And I had drafted the new ACPC Act and the new ACPC rules at that time. Amended the Act also and redrafted the rules. So in that, even I was having reservation. Any vocation, how can you make it so loose? But then said, no, nothing like this. You have to make it as per AICT. So things have to change. And it's good that you are very proactive. Now, I'm really, really very happy to see that something that we are doing in KSU, you have already cleared our way for that. In fact, we were starting it by the name of Higher Secondary Diploma in Computer Application. And we wanted to make it equivalent to 2-year program so that students could enter BCA program. BCA, that was my target. Because of the Industry 4.0 requirements, we wanted a heavy dose of computer system, people who could handle technology, computer especially. With this, when I read it, I realized that now you have opened DVOC, this 2-year program for computer science for entry into BE Tech Computer Science and IT, which is amazing. And I immediately gave a direction, instead of higher secondary diploma, make it DVOC. So we will start DVOC. And I also sent a message to our Commissioner Technical Education, please make necessary changes in the rules so that these DVOC students after 2 years, they could get into engineering institutions, engineering colleges. So that has to come, and that you have to impress upon states to make necessary changes in the rules. Because change in the rules will be required for that. Like state like Gujarat, we have a centralized system, as you may be aware, for engineering and technology admissions. So a change will be required there. But you have to see that states take place. Because see, today when I have to promise a DVOC student that you will get an engineering admission, I am pressing from my side, but AICT will be more effective. So that student should be sure that after 2 years, when I am through with DVOC, I will be getting. So you just see how all these people start DVOC program. And that will be a major difference, and that will be a great relief to Mr. Mattu from ArcelorMittal sitting over there. What, am I right? That will be a great relief to JCB Industries who say, Madam, COPA ka student de do, humko unko job dena. So, a lot of industry. That will be a great relief to them. They are wanting these students. So, I'm sure if you impress upon them in these 2-3 months, when we have the intake for the next year, because we'll have to tell them that there is a guideline for this. And it will take off very fast. So this is a very important request that you'll have to do. Of course, I'm requesting state government also, and I'll send a formal note. I'll try to see from my side, but from your side, and it will be a uniformity in the entire country. So from your side also, you could start DVOC programs, because as GCVT, as NCVT, they can only run certificate programs, they cannot run diploma programs. So only universities can give diplomas. That's why we have started KSU to give handover diplomas. So you could start all these DVOC programs after 10th. That will be a great help to the state and to the country as a whole. Now another 4th request is coming. So fourth request is that when we sit with our people designing their courses, a very important area of concern that is emerging, and that if you see the NCRF very carefully, 2-year diploma, okay, we give diploma. 2-year, we give diploma. Sorry? After 12th. After 12th or after 10th, even DVOC is 2 years. And it's equivalent to, you give entry into first year engineering. Okay? That's fine. So 2-year D2D, student gets into first year of engineering. 3-year D2D, students get into second year. But the entire program is of 4 years. Now, if you see this part, you leave. You see the other part of it. Undergraduate diplomas, 2-year in flexible entry and exit. 1-year certificate, 2-year diploma, 3-year degree. After 12. So that doesn't match. If you can do some tweaking and make this 10 plus diploma 3 years, then it will help a lot. Then students who have completed their 3-year program, 3-year diploma, we can give them directly admission into second year of BSc. So they don't miss on their diploma. They will still have the diploma plus graduation. Okay, so right now, for example, we are doing it for BSc Steel Technology. For BSc Steel Technology, students come with 4 years of diploma, and then they take 2 year study 2 year more to get BSc in Steel Technology. But if you make it 3 year, then they will still have the diploma. 3 plus 2 will make it 5 years. So you could consider probably that this is a slight anomaly that is remaining and that you could iron out. So another thing that I wanted to highlight was that KSU has started, Gargi Jain is there. She is Director of Employment and Training. We have an institution called GSTM, Gujarat Skill Development Mission. We also have Gujarat Council of Vocational Training, GCVT, and KSU. We together are running, the entire setup is running more than, maybe what, 300 courses? More than 300? More than 300 various types of programs that are targeted towards building up skills, including reskilling and upskilling. And a large number of these programs are at the level of 4+, that is NSQF level 4+. And firstly, please, in your universities, have at least one person who is a skill coordinator who understands what is NSQF. Because I know as higher education secretary, I never knew what NSQF was. Unless and until you know what NSQF, you will not be able to understand this entire system and this entire game of skill plus education, skill and education. So there should be at least one person in the university as the skill coordinator. And if you want, all these people can meet at intervals at the level of, under the chairmanship of our university's chief skill coordinator, who's a very experienced person into skills. And he works as chief skill coordinator, and he has dealt with, he's been in the DT also for a large number of years, very experienced and qualified person. Mr. Mistry is there. Is he around? He's there. And I will also ask him to speak for some time, give him 10 minutes. He will be able to tell about all these things that all these people can bring together. So bring that element, and we have a credit transfer agreement with some of the universities, but that has not yet been materialized. From our side, we have, for each of these courses, we have finalized academic credits. but your academic council has to ratify them, has to accept them, so that when students take up these courses, many of these courses are self-paced courses. So students can take up these courses on their own, and they can also, in their free time, outside their teaching, outside their learning hours, in the vacations or these things like that. So we are also starting a large number of courses in drones, a large number of courses into machine learning, cloud have already been started, a lot of courses into robotics also, additives also, huge bouquet of courses. So because that's what our work, and we are doing that. Please take benefit of that, and please allow your students to take benefit of that. KSU is also a university very much regulated by UGC. So we have, on the basis of UGC regulations, and we have identified credits, academic credits for each of these skill programs. And these credits you could automatically transfer. So first, we should start with universities who already have this arrangement. GTU and Marwadi, and many of them have it. So they could start first, and those who have not yet done, they could follow up later. First see how these people are doing. And at any time, if you want to sign a credit transfer MOU, you are most welcome to do that. But please be ready to implement it. Because now, after seeing the experience of all the 5-6 universities, rather more than that, 10-12 industries who just signed the MOUs for the sake of madam ne kaha hai to sign karna hai, that's not enough. So I am not encouraging any of the universities to just sign the MOU for the sake of signing the MOU. Please implement that MOU and take the benefit of courses. Most of the, because it's a state government, it's a state university, most of that it is run on a slightly cost plus basis. And we have tried to reduce the course of drone flying, which is being run in private institutions at the cost of 60,000. We are doing it at only 15,000, because we have not been brought into, KSU has not been brought into, what we as the DT, we have the mandate to skill Gujarat. We don't have the mandate to earn revenue. Government keeps on giving us money. So this is our mandate to help you all, to help the entire ecosystem of Gujarat to take this entire skill mission at a very high trajectory. So we want to work, all of us, let's work together. And I especially feel very at home with you people because of my previous connection with you people for 5 years. And I feel very at home, very, very much at home. So let's come together the way we have come together today, but still we need more of interactions and work together in integrating skills and actually working towards this, redefining education to ensure employable and skilled workforce, or rather employable, skilled and educated youth. Thank you very much. Thanks for patience.
I think the round of applause actually signifies how important points you have raised today, ma'am. The first 5 suggestions, it's of utmost importance. You talked about an anecdote of Khichdi and Charles Dowell. It reminds me of one more example, that you can have Rinku Singh to play between 16 to 20 overs. You cannot have a test opener to play 16 to 20 overs in a T20. That is the need of Dawat, that universities and industry all have to come together to address the challenges of industry, that what kind of skilled workforce they need. They need a Rinku Singh for